let's talk about anger. I want you to understand what it looks like from both points of view. From the woman's point of view, the man has an anger issue. In fact, she described to me a situation not long after she started dating her husband, wherein he exploded over a situation that most people would not have that strong of a reaction to. She was trying for 20 years to deal with his anger. Having a conversation with her husband, I realized that his issue was actually that he felt incredibly disrespected. That was like his core issue, was disrespect. And I could see, even looking back at the issue she had originally mentioned that occurred when they had first gotten together, that it was really about disrespect.
Hello, I'm Dr. Debbie, and I've been helping men, women, and couples grow together for more than 25 years. Now it's your turn to learn what I learned and taught as a couples counselor and university professor. You are the wise woman, and this is your personal development podcast packed with instant encouragement and practical tips. And men can learn about women too, because this is a safe place where women are valued and men are respected. We talk about biology, socialization, behavior, emotions, communication, and connection, because men and women are different. Always have been, always will be, and that's a very good thing.
That he reacts very strongly to disrespect. Now, he had told me that there were many times when he would make a simple request of his wife, something that's perfectly normal, perfectly natural for someone to desire, and she would refuse to do it, which again contributed to his feeling disrespected. So they had this negative cycle going. She was actually trying to change her husband. In fact, she told me the reason she chose to talk to me was because she saw on my website that I specialize in men. So her hope, both implicit and explicit, was that I would be able to fix her husband's anger problem. That made sense. You need help with an issue. If you know anything about negative cycles, you know that they are driven by two people, someone who initiates and someone who responds. Two people create that cycle together. Her attempts to help him with his anger problem backfired every single time. The bottom line question he was asking constantly was, do you respect me? And her answer, even though she didn't realize that she was saying this, her answer was, no, I don't. I think you're a child and I'm going to treat you like a child. Now, I did see the man explode. He did react very, very strongly. He did not have a lot of self-control when it came to his blood pressure, when something didn't go his way. And I totally get that. The challenge was when I suggested that she stop doing things that she knew would annoy him, that she stop pushing his buttons, but instead started showing him respect. Sadly, her response was that to show him respect would mean that she was rewarding his behavior. She couldn't see how she had the power to stop the negative cycle by refusing to engage in her old behaviors. It's kind of like being on a teeter-totter. If you've got somebody on both ends, then you can make it go up and down. But if one person gets off the teeter-totter, the other one is just sitting there on the ground with no one to keep the action going. To break the negative cycle, you've got to recognize your own position in the cycle. It can't just be about changing the other person's behavior, because it's like a teeter-totter. Another way to look at it is like a tug of war. If you want a tug of war to end, you can always end a tug of war by letting go of the rope. That means that you're refusing to respond in an old way. And you do that in kindness and trying to figure out what is the bottom line question that the other person is trying to ask. I'm not sure that he was in the place at that point in time to be able to understand what it was like for her. Now, that's been my experience with almost every couple I've worked with, is that the woman is the one who has the power to change the situation. I'm not saying that she has the responsibility for the whole thing, because they do it together. The negative cycle is created by two people, not just one. But when you can recognize your own part in the cycle and you can start to change the position that you take into one that is available, responsive, kind, and yet has good boundaries. No doormats here. I do not believe in one person becoming a doormat for the other person. Then they lose respect for you, and that doesn't work either. But you've got to recognize what your part in that cycle is. In this particular case, she became so angry that she was not willing to look at her part in the cycle, and we weren't able to go any farther. In fact, she turned her anger on me, which is not unusual in helping you achieve the goal. If that means something that you're thinking or doing is not working, then let's try something else and see what happens. We look for solutions. I actually created a workbook that I've used with many, many couples, and it walks you through step by step how to recognize the negative cycle, how to identify it, and how to begin to change your behavior. And part of that is learning how to take a time out for yourself. You never want to tell the other person, you're out of control, you need a timeout. Can you imagine why that wouldn't work? Well, if somebody said it to me or somebody said it to you, it makes you angry. And if anger is the issue you're trying to deal with, then it's not going to help for you to tell the other person they need a timeout. But you can say, I feel overwhelmed, I feel flooded, I need 10 minutes. I'm going to go for a walk and I'll be back and we'll pick up the conversation. And it's really important that you let your partner know that that's what you're going to do, that you're going to go gather your thoughts and then come back at a given time. When you come back at that given time, if you're not ready to recognize that you could respond differently to your partner, then you can extend that time. You can actually say, I'm not ready to talk about it right now. I still feel really upset, but I would like to pick it up again tomorrow. Or you could say after dinner. But give a specific time so that your partner knows when you're going to come back and address that issue. It's a very powerful way to get off the teeter-totter, to let go of the rope, give yourself a chance to regroup. While you're out there regrouping, you can't keep mulling over how awful the other person is. Instead, you want to get down to the bottom line of what's bothering you so much. What is the issue with you? And know that you can address that issue in a much more healthy way. Then when you re-engage, you want to walk in and listen to the other person. Okay, I want to hear what you're saying. So you're upset when we get ready to go somewhere and I'm not ready on time. Did I get that right? Did I miss anything? Okay, I can understand that. And I can understand how to be really frustrating for that to happen. The next time we're going to go somewhere, then I am going to be ready at least 5 minutes early so we can walk out the door. Because I don't want to just annoy you. You're the love of my life. You're the person who matters more to me than anyone else on the face of this earth. And that's what I want to do. At some point, maybe not right away, but at some point, you want to address the issue that got you flooded in the first place. So the issue could be that you feel like you're being treated like a child and ordered around. I said be ready at this time and you need to do that and don't disrespect me and all of that. And then you can say to your partner, sometimes when you get on my case for being slow, it makes me feel like a child. That actually hurts. I don't feel like I'm an equal partner with you when that happens. It really helped me a lot if you could be more gentle with your reminders that we are leaving at a certain time. But also, I realize I need to do a better job of getting ready and being ready to go on time. In all the years I have done this work with couples, one of the hardest things is to recognize that both people create the negative cycle. Without two people on the teeter-totter or two people doing a tug of war, it doesn't happen. And if you're not willing to actually be brave enough and confident enough to step into that space, then nothing's going to change.
Thank you for listening to this episode of A Wise Woman's Guide to Men and Marriage. What did you think? Did the information raise more questions? Do you want to learn more? Head over to A Wise Woman's Guide for show notes and links to the resources mentioned in this episode at awisewomansguide.com.